And welcome to the In-Game Boss Podcast. I am your host, Jeremy, a.k.a. your retro activist, a.k.a. your in-game boss, a.k.a. your... And with me is Jaron, the second player. How you doing, man?
Yeah. AKA Evil Vaku, AKA the grumpiest bears, AKA take it out, plug it, unplug it, plug it back in.
I wanted to leave it blank for the people to say, you fill in the blank what I should be on that. Anyways.
Yeah, I thought you were trying to imitate a Frozen connection.
You're right. Okay. Anyways, this is our bi-weekly podcast that we do every 2 weeks, of course, and we air it now, for your pleasure and whatnot. And we are all the episodes are on YouTube as part of the In-Game Boss program and Network Game and other varieties. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the nitty gritty of all of this. If you haven't heard our big talk about Platinum, go give that a listen to. We talk about where how much Platinum is going to sell themselves for, if they were going to put themselves for sale, and who should take them in to their family. Would it be the big library of all the best friends you can meet ever in Microsoft? Or do they stick with the good relationship that maybe Nintendo has? Or maybe Sony, maybe Square Enix, maybe 2K? I don't know. You got to listen to the conversation and find out. So, with that being said, speaking of Sony, State of Play happened. And as you know, State of Play has a bit of a record of being sometimes lukewarm in certain ways, but they're still learning. They haven't done it for too long. Nintendo has been doing it for quite a while, so they finally found their flow. I would say Nintendo had a little bit of a rough beginning, but it wasn't as bad as State of Play first started. But they found their footing. I think State of Play is slowly doing it. But this State of Play was very interesting in its own way. I think this is probably their best one to me compared to their history. I never think they really knock it out of the park. Even when it was time for the PS5 launch thing, I don't think they knock it out of the park. I think what makes it different is Nintendo tries to make it more of an entertainment show. And State of Play just feels like more of like, here's updates.
Here's some games.
Here's some games. There you go. So, I mean, to each his own, right? But I always like hearing I like seeing the developers coming in and presenting their game and talking about it and their passion and stuff. But everybody has their own thing. So
this year has been this State of Play. If I were to sum it all up, it was a trolling State of Play by Capcom and Square Enix. Troll.
But let me tell you something, Jaron. I'll tell you what, 2022. I really have to say this is a heavy year for video games in general, and a very interesting year of just what's anybody's game of the year, because there are just so many contenders coming in. I mean, of course, you have Elden Ring that's taking the world by storm, overshadowing Horizon Forbidden West. Which is still getting great. It got great scores too. It just sucks that it happened to be close by with another game that happened to be being critically acclaimed. But the crazy part about it is that I was talking to my friend Brian from the Role-Based podcast, and we were talking about this is just only the beginning. We still got God of War, if that ends up still coming out this year.
Yeah.
You have Breath of the Wild too.
Yeah. If
that's still coming out this year, I don't care about the Game Awards that much, but it's just interesting of like, holy crap, when have you ever been in a room with these two big mamma jammas all in the same room? Especially except for Forbidden West, you have three big game franchises that has gone through the grind to almost hit perfection of where they're at, right? Isn't that crazy? Like, you had God of War go through all that before we got God of War. They got like this critical acclaim. You have gone through all the Zelda to get Breath of the Wild, this big thing. And now we have the Dark Souls series from Software hitting us so hard to give us Elden Ring. This is crazy, my dude.
Yeah, it's hitting hard and fast. And honestly, I always joke about it, but it's putting people's wallets in a Cobra clutch. Mm-hmm. It's just like, it's like, nope, we're going to squeeze $60 out of you like every 2 weeks. People, it is to the point where you need to, or $60 or $70, depending on what platform you have. You're going to need to cough up $140 at least a month just to keep up with all these games.
Yes, but I think
crazy.
But I think this state of play, this state of play has to show for PlayStation owners, like, what is your plan this year? Because Nintendo already showed out their plan of the whole year, and it's just Nintendo alone has a jam pack of games coming out this year, and this is only the first quarter. We don't even know yet what the second one is.
Exactly. Nintendo only shows the cards that they are ready to play.
Yeah, and it's looking really strong for that particular one. Sorry, my cat is just tripping right now. Anyways,
it's okay. I had the cameo from Artemis earlier.
Yeah. But I mean, so we need Sony to kind of show us what direction that they're going in for that first year and whatnot. Yeah. His name is Rascal for anybody that wants to know. Rascal here, and you'll probably start tripping and running off. Anyways, so we got the state of play, and we got about, I think we've been given like 10, I think it's about 10, around 10 games or so, give or take. Yeah. So we kind of just want to go through them and just talk about some of them that kind of just stood out. Most of the time what we do is we just talk about games that stood out to us, but we got enough time in this episode. We're going to kind of go one by one and just kind of put our opinion in. It's not as big. See, the thing with Nintendo Direct was there were so many games, like, we don't have time to talk about every single game in that one. But here, it's a small little pack.
I mean, from what they showed us, we could talk about each one easily.
So let's talk about Exo Primal, a.k.a. the Dino Crisis that people...
Crisis.
That people was wanting, especially the cameo of not Regina.
Yeah. If they did a Dino Crisis remake, or if they did an actual remake, they have the engine. That's what it would look like. The dinosaurs, Regina, all of it.
Yeah, my secret is that in 2023 when it releases, that's the date on, it's going to say Exo Primal, but right under it's going to say Dino Crisis 3. I feel like I was just going to show that in there so like we got it, we got you. 4. Sorry, 4.
Yeah.
I try to forget 3. I think everybody tries to forget 3.
Everybody tries to get it.
I feel like it's going to be Dino Crisis 4 right under it. Just to get it like, okay, look, you guys want it. We put it on something. Now leave it alone. But speaking of this is not a game of service game. This is more of like a Left 4 Dead, 4 players, kill everything coming at you kind of screen. Capcom, they're the ones that are like, let's try to see how much we could push this engine by putting as many things on the screen. The Dead Rising treatment. And that's what we got. We got hordes of dinosaurs of all kinds just going around. Well, actually, not all kinds. This one just peeked out the same thing over and over again. It was nuts. I think we almost saw 4 dinosaurs max in this thing. A Triceratops. Yeah. Tyrannosaurus Rex. I hope there's more.
Yeah, just fall out of a portal.
Yeah, just out of a portal. And it's up to this team and the... I guess they decided to look at the same catalog BioWare was looking at, and the Anthem catalog is like, we're going to use some of those in ours, and with a little touch of a little bit of Lost Planet touch in there with some of the outfits.
Thank you. Thank you. When I saw that, I was like, that is totally trying to be like Lost Planet and Dino Crisis had a baby.
Yeah, yeah. So. And I like the first Lost Planet. The other two I can't speak for, but I like the first Lost Planet. But anyways. This is more of just a 4-player working together, and man, like, if this is not a video game, I don't know what to say. It is so damn ridiculous. It looks archaic. I am disappointed that they didn't show too many cool clips of what they can do. Like, the main clip was just showing them blocking off all these dinosaurs coming at you and crawling all over you. It's almost that World War Z kind of thing.
Yeah. It's. I mean, I guess that's what dinosaurs do.
Yeah, but overall, I think they got the point across. I think so that's good. They kind of just show like, here it is, guys. This is what we're going for. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of dig it a little bit. I hope that what we saw is not just it. I hope there's more to it. I hope it's just not like we go by stage and just deal with over and over again. Like, I like Dead Rising, but Dead Rising does get old once in a while because you're just how many cool things can I do to a zombie?
Yeah, how many different ways can I kill a zombie? Yeah. Another thing that reminds me that I hope they avoid, like by having an in-depth story and all that other good stuff, I hope it's not like Earth Defense Force.
That's a lot of people are saying they got that feel of. Yeah. There is other multiplayer modes apparently. Like, they could be. I think there's a mode where it's like PvE and PvP all together in one, where you for people who don't know, like you deal with other players, but also dealing with monsters or dealing with whatever the other enemies are around affecting you in some sort of way. Yeah. And they kind of did that with Operation Raccoon, I think, from Capcom a while back. It was like a PvP, but zombies were around, so you had to deal with zombies while going against each other. So I guess like maybe they're trying to, do that in his own way. But
I mean, why can't they just do Resident Evil Outbreak? Just bring it back.
It's funny you said that because there's talk that they might come back. That was like a rumor talk and whatnot. Now it'll work. Like the one on PS2 was ahead of its time.
Yeah, both of them on PS2 were ahead of their time, and we have an internet infrastructure now. All they have to do is not do that BS peer to peer. Actually, have servers.
Yeah, and the fact that like people really thought with the success of the remakes of 2 and 3, they thought it's gonna be a cut and paste for Dino Crisis. It'd be like just like Resident Evil 2 with dinosaurs. Like, just do exactly like that, over the shoulder shooting, but just with dinosaurs.
It'll sell. I would play it. I mean, hell, I got Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes. I'd buy it.
Yeah. So, but how does this interest you at all? Exoprimal at all?
Not day one, but I will keep my eye on it.
Okay.
I like the idea of exosuits, mechs, pretty much mech lights. I like the idea of dinosaurs being all out of control, but I would have to know more about this. I'm not day one hyped yet.
So 2 things about this is interesting is, one, this is not the only dinosaur game that came out like dinosaurs a new thing. There was a game that came out last year, I believe, and it was like almost like a Turok style game, but it was multiplayer, and it was all those dinosaurs on a planet, and your goal is to take down all these dinosaurs.
Oh crap!
I think you know what I'm talking about. It was a sci-fi kind of show. Sci-fi kind of game. I think it was like Evolve something or something like that.
I can't place.
But if I say it, you would know it. You would definitely know it.
It wasn't Ark. You're not talking about Ark.
No, right? Not at all. Not at all. This was a dinosaur game where like it's you and a bunch of people, and you're kind of just working your way through these different territories on Earth, I believe. And whatnot, and I thought it was called Evolve or Evolution, something whatnot. But the second thing too is, I love the fact that Exoprimal is already being shown with all this graphic stuff, but we still don't know anything about Capcom's other announcement, Pragmata.
Oh,
the guy with the giant suit with the digital cats and the little girl, right?
Yeah, the girl on the moon and stuff.
Yeah. So that's interesting that we know more information in this game than that one. That's all I wanted to say about that.
They probably had more ready with this game than the other one because they already had to push it back. They pushed it back to like 2024 or whatever like that. And everybody's like, cool, we don't know what the hell it was anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, we're not mad because we don't know what the hell you were doing. So good luck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I never really understand why they decided to announce that game in the first place. It's like, why? But that's just something that's interesting that this game is coming out before that and whatnot.
It was before the real effects of the pandemic were felt, and they were trying to hype everybody up on the PS5 and stuff like that. They're like, hey, PS5, it's going to be like, oh my God, you're going to be like a baby crying black tears.
Second Extinction, that's what it's called.
Okay.
That was another dinosaur game that was a sci-fi that came out last year, I believe.
Yeah, it still doesn't ring a bell, but now I know what to search for. Second Extinction.
Yeah.
Okay.
So while you're looking at that, let's go into the next game on the list, and that is some more footage of Ghostwire that is supposed to be coming out, I believe, the end of this month.
March 25th. Yeah.
Yeah. It's towards the end of the month.
Doesn't look like a day one buy for me, but it looks interesting.
Mm-hmm. I'm a little excited about it. I'm actually a little excited about it. It's not. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and throw this out here. None of these games are day one for me because I don't really buy a lot of games on day one. So I'm just going to throw that out there. I am interested in Ghostwire. Hope I will add it onto my list to play soon. But I'm actually excited for it. I think it looks really cool. It's something different. First person action with more of, with more hand gestures. I don't know what the word you would say for those. I don't want to say your ninja stuff. That just sounds terrible the way you say it. Ninjutsu, whatever. But you're using a lot of spells.
Yeah.
A lot of spell moves instead of using guns and stuff. I thought that looks pretty cool. I hope it's a lot deeper than I think it is, and I think it's a little bit different from, Evil Within. So I'd like to see where that's going. Speaking of that, for people that don't know, there was also an announcement of one of the developers that left that studio. I forgot her name. I'm sorry, but she made a showcase of herself on the Bethesda E3 stage a couple years back.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, she has now announced her new studio that she's at, and I think it's called Unseen something. So.
Yeah, she. I think that was yesterday or the day before on Twitter. She was announcing that.
Yeah, so give or take. But with that being said,
Ikumi Nakamura, I believe.
Yeah, if that's it. So
yes, Ikumi Nakamura.
Yeah. Do you know the name of the studio? Is it
yes.
Unseen?
It is. Let's see. Oh God, she's teasing it. Yep, Unseen. She's the founder of Unseen Studios.
Okay, I thought so.
I wish her much luck and much success.
Yeah,
because she had a lot of energy. She was very outgoing, and she seemed excited about what she was doing.
Right.
So I wish her much success.
Okay. So
I'm going to be honest. The Ghostwire Tokyo trailer, I tried to really watch it again. It looks like it has great presentation, but the gameplay itself is I don't know. Yeah, and when I say not a day one, I don't mean I want to buy all these day one or none of these. I'm talking about just hype. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
But what's the last game you've been that much energy, right?
This much energy? That would probably be Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Okay.
But I mean, hell, Triangle Strategy. I technically bought day one in the sense that I forgot which week it came out, and as soon as I realized it was out, I bought it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep. Okay. With that, let's talk about the one that's almost around the corner. That is the first Final Fantasy game for the year, and that is Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin, where it's more of what would you say, more of a Dark Soulish kind of style game.
Yeah, it's almost like a mixture of we were talking about Platinum before, a little bit of that along with I wouldn't say Dark Souls, but it definitely has a bit of that action. It's not Dark Souls where one mistake and you're instantly dead.
It might be more maybe I know it's kind of comparison to that, but I don't think it's harsh. But maybe Neo? Would you say it's more in the line of Neo?
Yeah, I would say a little bit of that mixed with if Final Fantasy VII Remake were all action and not turn based at all. I mean, hell, the demo is out.
Yeah, I was going to announce that. By the time you listen, the demo's out on PS4 and PS5, so you can definitely check that out. I had no interest in this game. It just doesn't interest me at all. I don't like the way the characters look. I don't know if I'm in the mood for that style of a game right now at that moment. I think I can find a better game than that. I actually kind of falling off a little bit from Final Fantasy. There hasn't been a Final Fantasy that really clicked for me. I think it's just been a bunch of misses so far from 15. 15, I think I let a bad taste in my mouth. 16 does not look promising right now for me. I hope 16 fools me. But I think I think what it was is I am not feeling the main protagonist anymore in these games. They're a little boring, and they're a little always, I have to be the serious one while everybody else gets to be cool. For better for worse, I miss having characters like Zidane or a Titus that are low. Just bring a little bit more energy. Try to be likable. But Noctis to me was not very likable. I don't think Cloud was very likable. I mean, yes, people let me put it this way. I think people like Cloud here's a better way. If Sephiroth didn't exist, I don't think Cloud would be that likable.
Ooh. Maybe.
Really?
But you still got Tifa and Aerith.
Well, here's the thing. I would love to have discussion one-on-one. We don't have time. That's his own episode for that whole discussion. But I'm saying, in my opinion, he's basically, he's the chip off of Zack, which is an interesting person. Cloud has always been a kind of a wet blanket, and Tifa's the one that brings more energy into the thing. Aerith does, all those people, and
I want you to post this hot take on Twitter because they are going to eat you alive.
That's why I'm not here. I honestly, like, if that's an issue, leave a comment down below. I want you to come here on YouTube to leave a comment down below.
Yeah, bring it.
I don't want to go to you. You come to me. So, it's okay. It's okay. I think that we sometimes get blinded by like how cool the character is on his super moves, but in the personality, they're not really cool. I even argue a while back. I think Link is not really that cool of a character. He's a very boring person. What's cool is what you get to do with him. You make him cool. But if you sit back and look at him, he's just a silent protagonist. He's a really not that cool of a person.
Yeah, I mean, Cloud. I think a lot of people dig Cloud and everything because they dig into the lore behind him.
True.
And the lore of the world. But, him just on his own, someone just said, hey, he's this person who lost his memory and is obsessed with this and is pretty much a brooding, asshat.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah, that's just me though. But that's the thing. Even people with their whole backstory, it's still You learn about Noctis. Noctis is in a struggle of dealing with the loss of his father and dealing with, getting his kingdom back while someone's behind the scenes is pulling all the ropes and he doesn't know what's going on. But I'm just not. I want stories to stop wrapping around where they have to be in this serious mode or something like that. I think 10, why a lot of people like 10, because you have a known character that is trying to be happy-go-lucky, but also trying to deal with the struggle. And that's a little more interesting to me than these characters, or Squaw. I think Squaw's a very boring character, too.
Well, Tidus wasn't even... You could argue he wasn't even truly the main character.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You could argue that, but for the time being... That's what they try to pin the focus on, right? Is through his point of view. Even though he's not the star, he's not supposed to be the star of the show. Even 12, my favorite RPG, Final Fantasy, I don't even like Van. Van is a very boring character.
I don't think anybody likes Van.
No.
They like Ash and Balthier, Square, Final Fantasy Han Solo.
Yeah. It's Final Fantasy 12 is a Star Wars game to me. Anyways, even Sedaine. At least Sedaine was popular because he was very just athletic. I mean, not athletic. He was very energizing, from the beginning.
Yeah.
I like characters that just draw me in more of the energy. I'm tired of the wet blanket kind of, woe is me kind of thing. And I'm paraphrasing here.
Life is hard. Woe is me. Life is hard.
But you also, like I said before, I go for villains more than heroes anyways. Because the villain's the one that's going to make the story, the movies good. If the villain's terrible, then it's a boring movie because then the hero's just too badass. That's what I'm saying. If Sephiroth was not in this, and there was a wet blanket of a character of a villain, it's like, I'm just here to destroy the world, then it's like, well, what the fuck is the motivation behind it? At least Sephiroth had some reason to do it, and that made him so interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. He just didn't get the right hugs from mommy.
Yeah, and I argue with 12. If people say 12's villain is weak, you're absolutely right. 12's villain is freaking weak. He is nothing special, and neither 8's villains was special. 10's main villain was not special. So like,
the real villain were the father issues, the political intrigue.
The real villain is you, kind of thing. I'm just kidding. No.
Yeah.
No. But what am I getting at? Where am I getting at in this full circle? The main character looks like a wet blanket to me. He doesn't look interesting. He looks like he's just straight of a soldier. I got to get this mission done. Yada yada. Just not feeling that flow right now for me personally.
So you're not even going to give the Stranger to Paradise demo a try.
If I do, it'll be later. But I'm not in the excited mode to like I want to play the demo to hope it proves me wrong. No.
If you accidentally download it and play it, sure.
Yeah. But that's just my opinion on that.
All right.
What about you? Is this tickle your feather a little bit, or you disagree?
I'm curious, but I have so much on my plate, and I'm a little leery of downloading something that's really meant for PS5 on PS4. So maybe. I mean, it's if I get around to it, I get around to it.
Okay.
So it's like it's the game itself is so vague. Everybody's already hypothesizing that it's explaining the origins of all the Final Fantasy worlds. I was like, oh, if so, that might be interesting, worth a look. Otherwise,
I forgot to mention 13 too. 13 is the main protagonist. Is she's a little boring too. Anyways, Forspoken, the game that I think a lot of people were excited for, but got pushed back to October. I think the 13th. I want to say. Either way, it's in October. It got pushed. 11th. It got delayed. It got delayed to October.
11th, October 11th. It should be good.
Now I'm a wet blanket because I'm not excited for this game either. I don't know what it is about it so far that gets at me. I think it might, if I had to take a guess, I think it's the whole how did I get here kind of story. And oh cool, I got given superpowers, let's have fun with that. Oh, there's a story. Oh, I'm special moment. It's almost like I bumped my head and I went to Alice in Wonderland kind of thing. You know, I mean, it's pretty, it's spectacle, it's really cool, but I don't know if I want the whole, the whole freeze frames. Like, you're probably wondering how I got into this fantasy world. Well, let's rewind back how it all began.
Yeah, I mean, it's doing the whole fish out of water, the fish out of water trope. It's a young New Yorker that's in a fantasy world. It's a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court, or that movie from the 90s where a kid goes to King Arthur's court, or Black Knight with Martin Lawrence. But I think it
or The Witch in the Wardrobe. I mean, Chronicle of Narnia.
Yeah. The Lion, Witch in the Wardrobe. But I don't know. I kind of have a soft spot for fish out of water stories.
Okay.
Because I mean, depending on how they execute the story, I'm going to check out the reviews for it first. Depending on how they execute the story, it actually could be fun to get lost in. Like, if you can really just get lost in the character or in the world, then it might be worth a look. Especially they're using the technologies they were touting with the PlayStation 5 years ago. The streaming, the huge worlds, the fact that you don't have to worry about anything loading. You see something, you can go there, all that. It looks like it could be interesting, or it could be a really pretty tech demo for what the PS5 will eventually do in 3 more years.
Okay. I can understand that completely. I get where you're coming from that. I like to see if I get proven wrong. If this game gets really great scores, I will maybe give it a consideration just to see if I'm completely wrong about it. But I will give, weirdly right now, I give Square Enix a lot of credit because they are just jumping out, trying things new. And you'll notice here when we go down the list, they're really trying to throw new stuff at the board. Yeah. Forspoken is something out of the realm to me.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say completely new. It sounds like it's kind of familiar. It's just got a new wrapper on it.
Are you talking about just story-wise? Because I was just looking at just as Square Enix, a studio, period. Just doing something new.
I say it's half and half. Like, they're doing new stuff, but then some of the other stuff, that we will discuss later, it's like, okay, they're revisiting, or they are kind of revisiting but putting another wrapper on it, or they're trolling. Like I was saying, they're trolling exosuits or exoprimal. It's like, well, no, that's Capcom. Never mind. I will spoil my thoughts.
You should know more of that.
Yeah. So that's all I'm going to say for now.
Okay. All right. Gundam Evolution. This is the free-to-play kind of multiplayer. I think it's 6-on-6, whatever, with Gundam fighting. I am a huge Gundam fan. I don't know how this is going to play out in my head of this game. I got to see more gameplay. It is interesting. But I don't know. Is it just me, or could this game look a little better?
It's a big meh for me.
Yeah, it's definitely dedicated to the Gundam fans. I am intrigued by it, but it's weird. I don't play a lot of Gundam games. I guess because these Gundam games never really hit the mark for me, or what I want out of a Gundam game. So I kind of wanted to see where this goes, and I can honestly see this game not really having a big base of players to keep that alive for online play. I feel like you'd be waiting for a while for games to start.
You know what it looks like to me?
What?
It looks like Overwatch with Gundams.
You think it's which Gundam has like special specs for certain things? Is that what you're seeing?
Okay, so one of the screenshots itself, by itself, well, it's a first-person shooter, Gundams, which there are so many different Gundam shows, different Gundams with capabilities. The types of FPS, point capture, domination, and destruction. Similar themes in Overwatch and first-person shooters since time immemorial. But what gets me is the HUD layout and the design. So one of the pictures, it has a Gundam. It has a specific Gundam character or type Gundam model. It has their health, and then in the center it has like what looks like an ultimate ability that's charged up.
Okay. And
then on the side it has other side abilities that you can use with different varying cooldowns.
Okay.
That is like almost copy paste.
Okay.
The user HUD experience.
I honestly looked at that trailer one time, so thank you for pointing that out. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, I can see where you're coming from. Yeah. I think, okay, well, I would, and if that's the case, I would counter it as I think it works for Gundam because if people are listening and you're a big Gundam fan, it makes sense because Gundam has such a history and so many entries. If this is like the greatest hits, we're getting the main Gundams from every series, then that's would be awesome. You get your Gundam character from Gundam Wing, you get your character from Gundam 083, you get Mobile Suit Gundam, you get Gundam X, you get Build a Gundam, you get Gundam 8. It just has a lot. 0000. It makes sense that could work for that because they have such a library of so many different Gundams. And it don't even have to be just Gundam. It could be Zeos, the enemy side and whatnot. I don't want to go too Gundam nuts on this, but
you're leading that discussion. But I know of them. I just don't watch it.
But I think you are aware that it has so many varieties of series that there's enough Gundams to pull this idea off of having his own Gundam, right?
Oh yeah, there's at least half a dozen, if not almost a dozen, different Gundam shows, Gundam series, from the serious to the silly. Yeah, and I mean, even my girl liked watching Gundam Wing on Cartoon Network.
Gundam Wing is a lot of people's mainly remembered because of Toonami. I get that 100%.
Yeah. I really wish I could have gotten into it because I like building them, the little plastic models. I like building them, but as far as watching it, never got around to it.
If anybody ever wants to get into Gundam, it's a show you have to be patient because it's a slow burn that is a political story. That's mainly what it is. And you watch that show for the war and the characters, right?
Yes.
That's what you aim for. But if you're not in the mood for learning the political side of this, of what is war like in space and all this stuff, this might not be for you. And I get that 100%. But I feel like it pays off if you give yourself the chance to invest into the series. And I think the toughest part is you really got to go like the Anime News Network or talk to somebody that knows Gundam to tell you what is the proper Gundam that you should start, minus where you think you should start, because some shows are not part of the main canon and some are because they have different years. We're going way too deep in this. We're going to leave it at the surface.
I know. I was about to boost you up some more by like, what do you think is the right Gundam order to watch?
Case in point, I would say just watch the very first one, Mobile Suit Gundam. That's why I would just say that's just the very first one. Yeah. The one you should stay away, in my opinion, is G Gundam. I think G Gundam it's not a good show. That's all. I'll just put it right there. Anyways, so I think you know about G. I think you would know G Gundam if I describe it real quick. It's basically kind of like these guys, these people control the suits and they have this like gooey stuff that covers all them with all these spots on them and stuff. And you have like ones represent each region. And so it looks like almost like Power Rangers kind of style. They're in these mech suits and they fight the way that they fight inside the suit and everything. You would have thought it. It was on Toonami. People remember that.
It's like that movie with the Jaegers.
Sure. Anyways.
I can't even remember the damn name of the movie.
Well, speaking of shows that came around when Gundam was popular in Japan, we got the TMNT Collection. So, this has been a long time coming because Konami has been hitting these collections out every couple of years, except I think 1 year they did 2 of them in a row. But you have the Contra collection that came out. You had the Castlevania Collection came out. You have the Castlevania Advanced Collection come out. You have the Arcadish along with Gradius and all those kind of games collection that came out.
Gradius and
yeah. And now they striked again with Nickelodeon. That is the TMNT Collection, and it's a good collection. It's a good variety. For better or for worse, it's a good variety. You get the terrible first one that you can't beat the bomb level to the arcades. I think it's 2 versions of the arcades, I believe. I think no, is it 2 or 3? I don't know if you get the NES.
You get all the NES. You get all the NES games, all the Game Boy games. You get all the Super Nintendo games, and then you get the arcade versions of Turtles 2, the arcade game, and Turtles in Time, which is actually pretty awesome. And you get Sega's Hyperstone Heist.
Yes. Yeah. So, I'm just eyeballing. I think it's about 13 games. It sounds like.
I think it's about 11.
Okay.
It's up there. It's up there. You're getting any and no. Actually, I take that back. You are correct. It is 13.
Okay.
So yeah, Turtles arcade game, Turtles the arcade game, Turtles 3, Turtles in Time, Turtles in Time.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
even forgot there was a tournament fighter on the NES until they showed up. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, basically hardcore collectors remember that because it's freaking expensive. But yeah, I don't know. Did you ever play the tournament fighters on the 16-bit?
Yeah, it was not my cup of tea.
Okay.
It was just not my cup of tea. That's because I wasn't really into fighting games at that time. I was just sucking at them. I always preferred the co-op ones, like Turtles in Time. Like after Turtles in Time, like I don't need any other turtle game. This is my turtle game for life. You know.
Oh man.
Now
the especially the four player version.
Now here's the tricky question. This is a yes or no. I completely understand, and there is nothing wrong with it. 1, could this collection go bigger? 2, which ones would you add to it? And I'll throw some suggestions if you can't think of any, and I get it if you say, nah, I don't want that in there.
Honestly, if they're just doing 8-bit and 16-bit games, they've got them all. But if you're talking about going even more, I presently cannot think of anything else I would add to this collect that would fit. I cannot think of anything.
Okay.
Else.
What about when they try to remake Turtles in Time with the reshell? The 3D version of it.
Good God, no.
No? Okay. I completely understand.
In my personal opinion, because I played reshelled, and I was like, man, if this is the only way I can play Turtles in Time.
No, I was just saying just to have it, just to have it. You know what I mean? You don't have. Let's be honest here. Like, there's some Turtles in game. Like, I don't think this is gonna be a good game, but I'm glad it's there, kind of thing. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same reason I don't eat licorice just because it's there. It doesn't always taste right.
I'm just saying. I think the Game Boy Turtle games are probably not gonna be that good playing those again. But I'm glad they're there.
I mean, yeah, I will put it this way. I'm probably not going to be a fan of the Game Boy games because they're unless they do some quality of life stuff. I mean, they're supposed to add like rewind abilities and stuff, so that should make the original NES game.
Didn't they say there's going to be online bearable for the arcade ones?
Yes, there's going to be online for the arcade. There's let's see, looking here, rewind, save anytime. They're designing custom game guides. That's cute. Yeah, and the fact that it's it's going to have local multiplayer and couch co-op or online.
I thought so.
So that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
So I'm a no on the reshell, by the way. I was just kind of curious of like, I wonder if you're right. They probably just focus on the classics because there's never been any games that have been a successor after those, right? Like not even based on the 2003 Turtles cartoon show. Those games were not really that well received. I had the foggy lights. I thought they were cool because they're just turtles, but the gameplay's not really that good.
Yeah, what was it? Battle Network Battle Nexus and Manhattan Madness in Manhattan or something like that.
Yeah, and there was a couple, and there was one on the game. There was one on the Game Boy Advance too, but I don't know how that one did. So,
excuse me,
but give or take, yeah, this is a good collection. I think this is worth buying. I think if it plays off very well, I think a lot of people must buy especially for the nostalgia people. I think this is a good collection. You got to give Konami credit when it comes to collections. They're doing a good job with their collections. But we don't know what the future is for them. So, but at least they're giving us back in a better way with these collections.
Yeah. One thing I'm a little, I mean, I can appreciate they wanted to include it. You have the Tournament Fighters 3 versions: the NES version, Super Nintendo, and the Sega Genesis version. I don't know who would want all 3 versions, but you know what? Cool. It's basically everything Konami released when they had the Turtles license.
I agree, and I would counter that because I think Capcom did it with the Street Fighter. I believe you got a couple of versions of the Street Fighter. I think there was a Sega and the Super Nintendo edition of Street Fighter 2, because I think the music is a little bit different. I bet it's the same thing right here. I bet the music is a little bit different on both versions.
Graphics different, music's different. In Street Fighter's case, one you could play, you could have like 2 characters palette swap face each other versus and Tournament Edition or whatever the hell on the Sega Genesis, you could actually play as the 4 bosses and yada yada yada.
And then lastly, like why the hell not? Let's just go ahead and just throw them all in there. I mean, what else are we gonna do with them, right? Kind of per se.
It's true. They're like this much. Might as well throw them on there.
Right. Exactly.
You got the deal. Throw it all in there.
Mm-hmm. JoJo Bizarre, another anime show. If you are also a fan of Gundam, but they're not very related. But JoJo Bizarre is very popular. It's been picking up a lot of steam from fans. I mean, hell, you don't even have to know You don't even have to watch the show to hear JoJo Bizarre. That names itself. Well, they're bringing
so many memes.
Yep. So another fighting game is coming to the console. Up to 50 characters, I believe, that you can pick from through the whole series of JoJo Bizarre. And people don't know what JoJo Bizarre is. It is basically, in a nutshell, being vague about it, is basically an eternal war against the family of the JoJo family, over the generations, against this powerful person named Dio, and how that goes further on. You can go down the rabbit hole and say Dio dies at a certain point, and yada yada, the story continues on, but it's always gone with a Joe in each generation. So you had Joe Star, Joe Civ, Joe every generation, but they're all different in their own thing. You watch it, it's almost it's like basically a family going down in history. You get in the first one, you kind of get to meet this character. He ends up getting a birth to this child. He ends up being the next protagonist down the line in the second series, then the third series, fourth series. It's just a family generation. What it is.
The legacy of the Joe Star family.
Yeah.
The battle against evil.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So the video games are basically kind of doing the greatest hits of all the favorite characters and everything. And then they have these special abilities called Stan, ever since after the third season, where they're basically these physical creatures, these magical creatures that kind of represent you in fights. And they help you out with certain moves and everything like that. They're almost like personal assistants to your actions, basically. So, anyways, I like the show. Not really caring about the fighting games of the JoJo Bizarre. And I have this little jinx, or this little thing about most anime games that go into fighting games don't end up being very good games to me. From One Punch Man to My Hero Academia to all when it comes to 3D. I mean, Dragon Ball Z, I guess, Fighter did okay because it's 2D, but when it comes to 3D, it just never come into Naruto. I think Naruto, Shippuden, and all those series did pretty well for themselves, but I'm not very big in the 3D fightings in that aspect. So, are you interested in any of this JoJo Bizarre?
I'm still working my way through the anime. I've never been one for a lot of fighting games. Like, I have my particulars, but never been anime fighting game because there's just... Okay, I'm just going to say it. It's going to sound really shitty, but I don't care. I don't care for a good portion of the fan base.
Okay.
They disgust me. Period.
Okay. All right.
Fight me.
All right.
Come at me.
All right. Well, that's said and done. And I have no response to that because I am not part of that community. Anyways, so you're a big fan of Ghost of Tsushima, right? You enjoy for what that game is and whatnot, right?
I haven't started it yet.
Oh, well, if you have time.
It's on my shelf.
Well, whenever you decide to pick it up, you might be also interested in this game, Trek of Yomi.
Trek to Yomi?
Yeah, Trek to Yomi. It's more of like a 2D scrolling game with samurais that feels like it's kind of like the same kind of lore style that is Ghost of Tsushima, where you could play in color or black and white, but this one is straight only black and white, and it kind of has that kind of feel of a samurai kind of old school show or movie that you would watch. So this looks promising. I saw this trailer a while back, and this is a newer one. This really interested me. I thought it was pretty cool. I don't know if it's a Metroidvania style. I think it's just more of like maybe it's from like stage to stage. I'm not 100% sure, but I like what I saw. It looks pretty cool. I always wanted this out of Ghost of Tsushima, and I wish this game would do it too. I always wanted the black and white, but blood is red. I think that would just be so cool. But
I could definitely. Well, I watched the trailer to it, and it has that kind of that spirit of Sifu. You have the story you're going through. You have these bad guys. You're going through these obstacles. It looks like it could be interesting. I don't know. I'll probably check it out, or at the very least, try and catch it on sale, because I do enjoy a good samurai epic.
Okay. If you're a Returnal fan, guess what? You don't have to play that game alone, because now a co-op update has came where you can play with a buddy, and there's some other modes like Infinity mode, or I think there's like not Infinity,
Tower of Sisyphus.
Yeah. So, I haven't touched Returnal. I don't know about PS5. It's an interesting game. I believe that you touched it. No, you haven't touched it. Then
I don't have a PS5 either.
Oh, okay. But it is becoming it's becoming quite a hit for a lot of people. People really like this game, so playing with a friend might be more fun. So hopefully people enjoy that.
By the time we get around to getting a PS5 that's not too hard, it'll be on sale.
Jaron, what the hell is Dial Field Chronicles?
Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm sorry. You want something more in depth? Okay, Diofield Chronicle is a turn-based tactical real-time battle system that looks like Final Fantasy Tactics.
Mm-hmm.
If it were made 10 years ago, not in a bad way. It's just take Final Fantasy Tactics, mash some XCOM in there, and you have Diofield Chronicle. It looks interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tempted to see. I want to see more gameplay, see how the gameplay loop is.
Mm-hmm.
But I might fuck with it.
Yeah.
I might fuck with it.
And so far on these lists of games, most of these games are coming to other consoles too. And especially this one is coming also on the Switch, and I think coming to Xbox too. But I think it's also mainly Switch. The reason I said that because I think this game will look really good on playing on the Switch.
So far, it looks like they're just saying PS3 or PS4 and PS5 only.
They're going to say for their article, but if you go to Nintendo Life, they have updated and said it's coming to that.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. So I think they do that because Nintendo will put an article and they'll say just Switch, but then we find out that Octopath Traveler, for example, is coming to Xbox later. Since they're not. I don't think I realize when people do their own direct stuff, they're not going to say also coming to PlayStation Xbox. No, this is our conference. Only Nintendo. We're letting you know it's coming to Nintendo.
I'll play this on Steam. I'll play this on the computer.
You would?
Looks like
Okay.
It'd be fun to play it on the computer.
Nintendo. I swear, Square is not knocking out of the park with these titles. These titles have been kind of weird lately. Triangle Strategy. This one. This is some weird titles they're doing. I don't understand it. It's almost like I had a conversation with a friend. We were talking about it's funny about culture is that the way they see a word and the way we take it sounds cooler. Like, you know what? Dialfield Chronicle might have sound real cool in Japanese when you say it, right?
I mean, if Platinum Games has a completely different Romanized name that's way longer than Platinum Games.
Yeah, but it probably sounds. I don't know how cool it sounds, but I bet this sounds cooler than it could be. Triangle Strategy. Like that could have been sound way cooler in Japanese than here. But it's the same. I think of it the other way around. Like toilet. Like to them, toilet might sound cool to them. We think it's like, oh, that's gross. But to them, toilet sounds pretty cool. It's just it's that cross because we just don't know. Think of toilet in Japanese, like, oh, that's cool, and they're like, ew, no.
Toilet.
Is that what it is in Japanese?
Yes.
Oh, I thought that. Okay, so what's a word that is actually in Japanese that translates in Japanese? It just sounds Japanese. That just sounds gross.
So basically, not a loan word.
Yes.
I don't know about sounds gross, but I
No,
like
it
the
sounds
sound
gross.
of it.
It sounds gross to them, but it sounds cool to us because we don't understand it because the way it sounds there. So let's say for shit. How you say Japanese and how you say shit in Japanese? It might sound cooler than hearing it for us saying shit.
Yeah, kuso or chikuso.
Exactly. Yeah. And then it's the reverse way. They can look at it as like shit. That sounds cool. Let's name our main character shit.
Or busu or ugly.
Yeah, it's just that it's an interesting thing. I just think that's pretty cool, and I think that's what we got from these titles. It's like Dialpha Chronicle. I bet that sounds way cooler in Japanese than the translated English that we got from it. So, yeah. I'm interested in it because I'm trying to get used to strategy games, and since we're getting all these not Final Fantasy Tactic games, I mean we'll see what this one does. So. I'm interested in it when I have the time to play it. I'm probably going to play Triangle Strategy first before I play that game and whatnot. And the last one on the list, the best, and I wish it wasn't last, it was Valkyrie Elysium.
Oh, it wasn't the last. We skipped over Gigabash.
What's Gigabash? Is that the last one on the showcase? I thought Fire.
No. Gigabash was after Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
What's that one? I guess I missed that one.
Gigabash is like take Ultraman, Godzilla, and like Kamen Rider stuff.
I know about that one. Yeah,
and mash it together.
Yeah. I'm sorry. So it's basically King of the Monsters per se.
Yeah, which isn't bad. I actually enjoyed those games.
Yeah. That didn't intrigue me. As you can see, I did not even put it in existence in my head.
It's like if Power Stone but with monsters. I mean I don't know. I don't think they better not charge like $60-$70 for it, but it could be a fun little party game.
Okay. All right. Now, is there any other ones I forgot before I lay this last one down?
Nope, you're good.
Okay. And last, and I wish it wasn't last, because I'm kind of disappointed in this title. I'm going to go ahead and tell you ahead of, but it's Valkyrie Elysium, and this is based off the continuation or in the same universe as the Valkyrie Profile games from Square Enix. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like the way it looks, and I don't like the direction they wanted to go with it. I'm not saying I'm a hardcore Valkyrie Profile person, but I was really hoping they kind of stick with the kind of more of the lore of Valkyrie Profile, especially a game that hasn't had a new title since I believe on the DS. I want to say with Valkyrie Covenant. I want to say, if I'm right.
I never played any of them. So I don't know.
Because I think it came out the same year as the PSP version of the Valkyrie Profile when they did a remake of that particular one.
Valkyrie and Anatomia, no. Valkyrie Profile Covenant of the whatever.
Yeah, that's for the DS.
Valkyrie Profile 2. I did not know there were so many damn Valkyrie games.
There was. Yeah, there was. After the PS2, they kind of just stayed in the handheld realm and whatnot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they did. DS, even iOS, Android.
Yeah.
Ew.
So it's been years. Actually, this is one Platinum should have done if they were going to do this idea. Platinum could have done this if they're going to do this right. But I don't like the way it looks. Also, too, is by the people that did Valkyrie Profile are one of the studios, Tri-Ace, that also did Star Ocean. So they're one of those of what's the catch? Anyways, I don't like the way this game looks. I think it just looks like it's not polished all the way. I don't think that the game looks graphically amazing, even though coming for PS5. I don't think the artwork. I hope this is just an early look of it. I hope it looks better once it fully comes out. But I don't know. It looks very generic. It looks like it's not doing anything special to make itself stand out. It looks like any other game. You could slap it and just call it something else. It doesn't feel like that. This feels like a Valkyrie Profile other than a girl just displaying the character you see on the top of on the title of the box. So I'm definitely not feeling this one. This was not my biggest hype one. I think it's one of my least hype one out of all the games on this list. So, but what about you? Does this interest you at all?
I mean, it looked pretty, but I've never played any of the Valkyrie games, so I have no feelings for it either way, you know?
Okay. I don't think this game you have to play the previous one, but does this even like intrigue you? You said
no.
Okay.
No, like I said, it looks pretty, but
Okay.
I mean, Near Automata intrigues me, and it's still sitting on my shelf.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, this. I mean, but you know what? There are people who were hyped for it. Good for them.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll be listening to you guys tell me if this game was worth it or not. But that is it for the state of play. So overall, the showcase, they show a lot of games, even though some of them I'm not too excited about, but they brought variety, and they kind of gave us a taste of what's coming for them for this year. So I'm very happy for that and that aspect. If I had to rate it, I'd give it a B. I thought it was decent enough.
On a scale of 1 to 5, I would give it a meh.
Okay.
Like I heard a state of play. I was like, oh yeah, there's a state of play today. Oh, 15 minutes later, it's done. Okay. And then I went back through and reviewed. I was like, okay, I was like, maybe it's a reflection of my age.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, some of these were like, oh, that looks cute. Oh, that looks cool. Oh, that looks cute. Okay, well, I'm playing that on story mode. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. If I had to give it a letter grade, I would give it a C minus.
Okay.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collection for me keeps it at a C.
Yeah, I think a lot of people said that too. I heard some of the things I read in comments and stuff. It's like, out of all this, a turtle game, that's the one I want the most.
Yeah, because it looks fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the hell you're getting,
right?
So
right.
People aren't trying to make the next new profound art piece. It's just a game.
Mm-hmm. So, before we go, we are going to do one quick little segment that Jaron brought up a while back. We're going to try to nail this in towards the end. The big in-game boss challenge where we challenge each other, or just a quick question for us to kind of just answer it. So, the big question I'm going to put out today is, Square Enix has been hitting the renaissance of a lot of their old properties and bringing them back in a new way. My challenge question for us is, what is a series they haven't touched yet that you want to have them returned?
I would say context, like they haven't touched it at all, or you're saying they haven't had.
You haven't heard anything from that series. They brought back the Mana series. There has been a lot of series from the Mana. They have now. Yep. Chrono Cross, all this stuff. Like what? Actually, you know what? You don't even have to be a series you never heard of, but maybe just a new entry in a series. I don't care. What is a game that you want them to bring back and kind of push forward with it?
Oh hell. I'm actually trying to. Oh, you know what? Legacy of Kain.
Okay.
Hell, give me a Legacy of Kain collection. All the Legacy of Kain games. Gauge interest, then release a new Legacy of Kain game.
Okay.
Or Soul Reaver, whatever.
Okay. All right. Okay. Mine is Radiata Stories. I think this game is one of the best kept secret kind of series. I know, right?
You love that game.
I know. I champion that game. I think it's great. It's one of the best Tri-Ace games that they ever made. And the bar is pretty low for me. But I think that this game deserves it. The art looks so great. I would love to see what a remaster would look like for that. I mean, if you're gonna bring out this Valkyrie profile crap, I feel like Radiata Story has a chance to come back as some sort of way. Like, give it a chance. Yeah. Like, give it something new.
Soul Blazer, the Soul Blazer series.
Soul Blazer series, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you had Soul Blazer, you had Illusion of Gaia, and technically Terra Enigma. So remake Soul Blazer or bring out a new entry in the Blazer in the Blazer series.
I bet they would do a collection of like the Enix, the old school Enix of those three, the Legend of Gaia, all that kind of stuff. Even that one game we reviewed way back, Paladin Quest. That was a pretty bad game, but anyways.
Soul Blazer is a hidden gem of a game.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah. Glad you didn't say the Final Fantasy Super Nintendo game of
Mystic Quest.
Right. So, but that's beside the point. So overall, what is your pick? Mine's Radiata Stories. I think it should come back.
If I was going to go with something I would definitely like to see come back, it would be Legacy of Kain.
Okay.
If it was going to be something I definitely wanted to play, it would be Soul Blazer. So.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, Soul Blazer does have a chance. I mean, ActRaiser came back out of nowhere.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just the first one.
No. No. They bought didn't they announce a new entry in the Nintendo Direct? There was a new one, like a new entry, right? Or was that a remake of the first one?
It was a remake.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if they do,
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind doing a remake of Soul Blazer with the up res, nice graphical stuff like that. That'd be really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, ActRaiser Renaissance.
Yeah. I don't care if it's called Soul Blazer Renaissance. Like, they can do something with that.
Soul Blazer reblazoning.
Yeah. Right? I mean, Soul Blazer is so simple. All they do is just perfection on it. It's basically a dungeon crawler except solo.
Yeah, dungeon crawler town management game.
Yeah. So basically, but that is our challenge. But we asked you the same challenge. What game does Square Enix need to bring back for your pleasure and your excitement to give them to do in this world, the Renaissance, that they're bringing everything back? We'd love to hear your choices down below. As you know, this is part of the In-Game Boss program that we're gaming on the variety show. So please check out all our other great content, our movie content, our gameplay content, and whatnot. And if you enjoyed the show, we would love you to be a member by subscribing and leave a comment. We really want to hear some comments. I want to know if you like me or not. Nah, I don't care about that. I want you just to enjoy the show. But also, we are on Facebook and Twitter, so you can reach that. For Twitter, you can go to @ProgramIn, and on Facebook, you can type in the In-Game Boss program, where you can see us post stuff. But if you want to find us personally, you can find me as RetroAmp07.
And I'm on Twitter @TheGrumpyBear84. I will block you.
But with that also, we also have a Twitch. Do you want to tell them where they can find you on Twitch if they will have to watch you play sometime?
I guess twitch.tv/Evil of Aku. That's Evil of AKU. Like the character from Samurai Jack. Come on.
Okay. All right. And also, too, if you're also watching us on YouTube, you can also catch the In-Game Boss program on Twitch. Just type in In-Game Boss. You'll go straight find us. It's real easy. And we'll try to have a link down below if you want to go there to find us there. But with that, thank you so much, and we will catch you on our next episode. Stage clear. Let's go.
Don't be so cringe with that new high score.
All right. And for the people that are streaming with us, thank you so much for joining us, and we will catch you in a couple of weeks with our next episode.
Yep. You got the juice.